Republican Party power brokers are going against Republican voters in a very big way today. If you've been watching this program, you may recall I touched on this. But today you have an actual secret RNC meeting, which shows the MAGA elitism problem that the party faces. So this is behind closed doors. The RNC has this annual winter meeting. It's actually going today through Friday in secret. And that is not normal. That is part of this Trump problem they have, where they are trying to short circuit a lot of things. This is, as the AP puts it, a departure from the past. And you can see how it used to look in the old days. Take Haley Barbour, 94 RNC chair, out in front of the cameras, or Michael Steele, who so many people know from the similar meeting they held when he was chair, to the closed press secret meetings they're holding now. This is a file photo that shows the contrast over the years, the tightening secrecy. Why is it a secret? Well, the RNC is clearly trying to duck any further pressure, scrutiny, or transparency over its botched effort to end its own Republican primaries, withdrawing the proposal I told you about, which would have magically tried to declare the primaries over and Trump the nominee. RNC chair backed that up in a public set of remarks, saying Haley should drop out, Trump's got to be the winner. Now, this morning, Nikki Haley did something unusual, something Trump hasn't done, which is face questions from a different and more adversarial set of interviewers. She went, just like Biden has, to the Breakfast Club and took the questions.
He goes and pushes the Republican Party to say that he's the nominee to get me out. We don't do coronations in this country. Mm-hmm. 2 states have voted. You need 1,215 delegates. He has 32. I have 17. This is far from over. We're not giving up.
That's what she's saying in this new interview out today. The delegate breakdown backs that up. 48 states to vote, 1,200 plus delegates to go. And while Trump has long pretended to be the outsider, like so many other of his PR ploys, you have to actually look at the facts, not the spin. Because we have evidence from 2 states, Iowa and New Hampshire. Trump did get just about over 50%. Decent, but not by the standards of an incumbent or former president. Compare that to Trump's endorsements, though. Congressional Republicans who've made a decision, well, 92% are now supporting Trump. So on the left, you have actual Republican primary voters who participated in the 2 states thus far. On the right, you have Republican politicians, the literal elites. And this tells you something about the state of the party, something the media has sometimes missed, and something that's different from 16. MAGA elites are now trying to prematurely end a process where their own Republican voters, however conservative they may be, are not nearly as unified in the pick of the elites. And maybe that's why the RNC is trying to short-circuit this and hold secret meetings and duck accountability. So how do these party systems work? How should they work? Well, we turn to someone with a lot of experience. Howard Dean was the DNC chair, ran the party, and was a presidential candidate. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks very much.
What do you make of this gap between D.C. Republican elites trying to end the thing, trying to endorse Trump, and apparently, if we listen to the early voters, at least somewhat more of a mixed picture out there?
I think it gives a really good picture of what Trump would do if he got to be president. First of all, these are not D.C. Republican elites. What they are is people who are terrified of Donald Trump. And they're mostly second-rate brains who are just taking orders from this guy. This is the path that you take to a dictatorship. You consolidate your power, you terrify your own party, and then you do things behind closed doors that are totally undemocratic. A perfect example of this is Trump has been screaming and yelling about immigration. Now, I think immigration needs to be dealt with in a better way than it has been. But the fact of the matter is, we're getting a bipartisan bill, and who's killing it? Donald Trump, calling the speaker of his own party and saying, don't pass this. He has no interest in what's good for the American people. And I'll tell you something else. He has no interest in all those people that are going to the rallies for him either. He doesn't care. The real power is going to be wielded behind closed doors, as it was today, by Donald Trump. And he does not give one damn about anybody besides himself. And that includes all those MAGA people that are going to the rallies and sending him money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely serious about this. It includes American citizens, voters, whether they lean right or not, whether they are Republican voters or not. They are being cut out, as you say, by both Donald Trump and his agenda, but also by the RNC, which you just said it, closed door. We can't show anyone the footage we might have of the open DNC meetings when you ran it or when Steele ran the RNC because it's a secret today. As for the delegate hunt, this is one of those things where the media is a part of the problem. I've told viewers that, even though I'm speaking through the media tonight, I admit. And the D.C. system is a part of the problem when we get lectures about what's going to happen before the people have weighed in. Now, your record on this, Howard, if you don't mind me saying, is pretty good. You've done many things, but one of them was be an advocate for what at the time you were calling people-powered politics. Let's let the people participate. That rubbed some of the DNC elites the wrong way at the time. We have a little throwback here. Take a look.
Should we elect the President of the United States by polls, or should we have real voters? Real voters are going to decide who the nominee is. Real voters. 15% of people have gotten a chance to vote yet.
48 states remain. Do you think it's important to have a system where whether you agree with Republican voters or not, where the grassroots gets their turn?
One of the things that I think is going on here is that Trump is really starting to face the music in terms of his criminal trials, and he's already lost an $85 million verdict for defamation. And he understands that if he doesn't lock this thing up pretty quickly, he may not. There may be, as there has been in the past, a turn. You know, not all Republican voters are MAGA voters. They don't all scream and yell at the press, and they don't all hold Nazi things like they did when they were invading the Capitol on January 6th. A lot of them are thoughtful people who want to change. They are about to get suckered with the biggest con job you have ever seen. And if there's anybody who's good at conning, it's Donald Trump, who's built his financial career on conning people, which is now what the courts are saying now every single time he's reached a verdict so far. This guy is a bad guy. It's not just that he's a conservative or he wants change. I think we deserve change. And I think, frankly, the Democratic Party has been a little too complacent. And I think we need to do a better job. The answer is not a dictatorship. The answer is not the Republican National Committee, who are now tools of Trump, hiding in a room and not telling anybody what they're doing. That is not a prescription for a successful nation. And if you think it is, then have a look at Russia and have a look at China and have a look at a lot of the places that are run by dictators. They do not succeed. Their economies are not as good as ours, and they don't handle the kind of problems that we have in any kind of an easy way. Look what's going on in Hong Kong today. How'd you like to live under that? That is nothing compared to what Donald Trump is going to do if he gets into power.